Viewers, welcome to the Genevieve Kibbumba YouTube channel. Today the title is, May God Remember You. When God remembers you, things change drastically. They never remain the same. When God remembered Noah, the waters of the flood dried up. Noah, who was confined in the ark, was a free man again. He was free to walk on dry land and carry on his business. When he remembers you, when God remembers you, all your confinements will get loose and you will be set free. Every time God remembers someone, that automatically changes things. When he remembered Hannah, her title changed. They started calling her Mama Samuel. She who was barren became fruitful. Do you think God has forgotten you? You think he has forgotten you? Just wait a little. He never forgets and forsakes his own. Mordecai was a gatekeeper at the king's palace. He did some commendable work for the king. He never asked for a reward. He thought it was his duty to save the king's life. But God thought differently. When he remembered Mordecai, he burdened the king to read the Chronicles, where he found out that Mordecai saved his life one day. He immediately asked somebody whether Mordecai had been appreciated. They said no. He immediately commanded Haman to honor Mordecai with the king's instruments of honor. When God remembers you, he uses even your enemies to honor you. It doesn't matter who is in the vicinity, a friend or an enemy, God will use him to bless you. May God remember you today. David had been kept in the bush with animals. He was never invited to the family gatherings. When God remembered him, the whole congregation of worshippers stood still until David was brought in. That was the beginning of his uphill climb. When Samuel anointed him, he started moving up. The first thing he did was to kill the lion and the bear. Next was to kill Goliath, the giant of the Philistines. Before he knew it, the king asked him not to return to the bush, but to be in the palace with his army men. David was not eyeing the throne, but the throne was eyeing David. Before it was all over, David was king of Israel. His kingship was so controversial that it caused a war between the loyals of Saul and the loyals of David. But when God is involved, you cannot win. David waxed stronger and stronger until he was king of all Israel. On the other hand, when God remembers the evil one did, or the evil you did, you are in trouble with your maker. The day he remembered Eli, the whole family was wiped out. Eli, his son Ophni, his son Phinehas, and the wife of one of them, plus the newborn baby, they were all wiped out in one day. May you remember your sin and repent before God remembers it. When God remembered what Amalek did to the children of Israel in the wilderness, his command was one: kill all minus none. When King Saul tried to be considerate, the prophet Samuel slaughtered King Agag in his presence. If Samuel the prophet had not hewn Agag, Agag would have hewn both Saul and Samuel. Remember and turn before God remembers. God may forsake you for a moment, but he will remember you with great mercies. He may hide from you for a moment, but with everlasting kindness he will remember you and have mercy on you. The Lord will not cast off forever. His mercy is not clean gone forever. His promise will not fail. God has not forgotten to be gracious. He has not shut up his tender mercies. It is our sin that have covered us from God. Just humble yourself and pray and seek his face and turn away from your wicked ways. Then God will remember you for good. When God remembers you, don't forget God.
Bonama, tata, bonama.